Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Today it is all about Chanel, and I picked up all 4 quads from their latest Byzance collection. This dropped in New Zealand today, so I went and picked all 4 up. I haven't tried any of them. I have taken photos for Instagram and also some videos, but I haven't swatched them yet. Now, if you watched my latest Will I Buy It video, I did mention this collection, and the only swatches that I've seen and other videos of it are from Tavia from Chic Profile 3. She thought they were very sheer. She thought it took 2 or 3 layers to build them up, although I think in 1 or 2 of them she said they swatched sheer on her arm but were a bit better on the eye. Now, it doesn't bother me with a sheer eyeshadow. I like one that you can build up, especially for my everyday makeup. A couple of these quads have a more red shade in, which sometimes I'm not that keen on wearing, but as long as I keep it away from my lower lash line, it should be fine. Now, I still haven't decided which quad I'm going to put on today. So I'm going to do swatches of all 4 quads, and I will apply one of the quads. And the other 3, I'll put up some videos on those, probably a separate video on each one over the next day or 2. So the Chanel Byzance collection, this actually isn't new to Chanel. They released a makeup line called the Byzance Collection, and this was in 2011. I've got some notes in front of me because I did a bit of Googling online to see what I could find. And there was a really gorgeous limited edition quad, and there was also a blush and a lipstick that came out with that as well. Now, in addition to that, in 2011, there was also another very special palette released, and it was supposed to represent like jewels that were framed in a palette. And this was for the eyes and cheeks, and this is absolutely gorgeous. There was only 1,500 released, and these were numbered, and only 130 of them went for sale in the USA. And back in 2011, they were $250 US each. Coco Chanel was inspired by Byzantine art, and she reflected this in her costume jewelry, and I think it might have been in 2011, and there might have been a couple of others since, but there's also been shown on the runway different jewelry that they've been wearing, and also clothes as well, and they've all been inspired by the Byzantine art as well. So these 4 quads that I have in front of me, these are inspired by that Byzantine art, by the different coloured jewels. So the palettes are the typical size. They have 2 grams of product. They are made in France, and they have a shelf life of, I'm just trying to see what it is. The shelf life, I think, says 18 months from date of opening. And the outside of the quads are fairly typical. They have the gold on the outside instead of sometimes the standard white there, but other than that, they look the same as a usual Chanel quad. So I'm going to show you the quads in the numbered order, and I'm going to show the lowest number first. And this is 308, and this one is Imperial. Now inside they do have the 2 brushes, or one is a brush and the other one is a sponge tip. I'm going to take those out so they don't fall out. Now inside these palettes, it looks like, I wasn't sure whether it was a bronze, but it is a gold type of colouring, and it looks like sort of it's been hammered. I think it looks really pretty. There have been comments on Instagram that it looks cheap. I don't think it does. I think it looks really lovely. So I'll just hold this one up so you can take a look. So the next one is 318, and this one is Venetian. And I think it might have been this one that people said it reminded them of the Tissy, I think it's Vendome, but I don't have that palette, so I can't compare it. So this is the Venetian palette. And the next one is 328, and this is Crystal. Just taking out the brushes. So this is Crystal. And the last quad is 338, and this is Baroque. So the lights in front of me are quite bright. So I'm going to hold these up again quickly, and I'll just turn the lights down just so you can get a better look at them. So this one is Imperial. Next is Venetian. And then we have Crystal. And then finally is Baroque. So let's swatch these. I'm interested to see what these are going to be like, but then of course they may swatch sheer on my arm, but they may perform really well on my eyelids. I am hoping, because I do think all the colour stories are really lovely. Now I don't have, and I never do, put any eyeshadow primer on my arms when I do arm swatching, but I have got eyeshadow primer on, and I always wear eyeshadow primer because I have oily skin and I also have very oily lids as well. And I'm just using my usual primer, which is the MAC, the Paint Pot one. So I'm going to swatch these from left to right, top to bottom. So the first one is Imperial. So this one seems to be swatching okay. And the last shade in the quad, this is a topper, but even that is swatching really well. But I'll just go over it again. So next we've got Venetian. So again, this seems to be swatching quite well. This is the lighter palette, and I thought it might not show, but it is. So we've got satin, and this is a satin as well. And this is a matte shade. It feels quite creamy. They don't feel dry. And then lastly is a topper shade. Now this has a little bit of shift in it. Looks like it's got sort of a white, but there's also a little bit of gold in there as well. And again, that is swatching really well. It is a topper shade, but it is still showing up. So next, so I'll just swap to my other arm. So next is the quad. This is Crystal. That is quite a sheer shade. I'm going to go over that one again. And this one's also quite sheer as well. This one is pink, and then here it's like a rose. I'll just swatch that again. So out of the three that I've tried so far, this is the one that sort of have to swatch 2 or 3 times, but I do think it looks really pretty. So we'll go to the bottom row now, and again we've got another brown, and that is swatching okay. And then finally again we've got a topper shade, and this is a white, but I think this is a really pretty colour story. I might put this one on today, I think. I'll decide, I think, between the one just before, the one that I swatched Venetian, or this one. I think either one of these I'll put on today. And then finally we've got Baroque. So this is like an antique gold. And here we've got a red. It's more of a wine colour. I'll just swatch over that again. And then we've got this really beautiful green that is gorgeous, and it's almost got a touch of gold in it as well. It's really pretty. And then finally is the topper shade. This one feels a bit chunkier than the other topper shades, but I think it'll go quite well on the eye. Might get a little bit of fallout too, so I'll just be careful putting it on. So they swatched a lot better than I thought they were going to. I think they look really, really pretty. So I've made a decision, and the one that I'm going to put on, this is number 328, and this is Crystal. I think this is a really pretty color story, and I'm interested to see how this is going to go on my lids, but hopefully I'll be able to build it up, and I do think it is going to look really pretty. So I'm going to take my rephr 14 brush. This is the one that I use a lot if you've seen my other videos. And if an eyeshadow is going to work, it usually works with this brush. So first of all, I'll go into the shade here. And the pickup is quite good. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that all over actually I'm going to take that all over the lid, so I'll probably change brushes. I think what I'll do is I'll take the builder, this is Sonia G one, just staying with that shade since I'm going to put this all over the lid. So this is a soft shade, but it is, I think it looks really pretty. And I know there's a lot of people that watch my videos and they love really soft colour stories as well. But I think that is really lovely. I mean, it's very light. So I'm just going to tap some of this just on the other lid as well. And now I'm going to take my rephr 14 and I'm going to go into the shade here. And I'm going to put this one, I'm going to put this through the crease and just take that slightly above as well. So this is sheer, and it did swatch quite sheer on my arm. This is the one I think I had to swatch 2 or 3 times. But it is buildable. And they are blending really well. There's no issues with them blending whatsoever. I'm going to stay with the rephr 14 and go into this brown shade here. And put this in the outer corner. This is the eye look that I normally do. I'm putting in a darker colour in the outer corner. So it is a soft shade, but I think it is really pretty, but I am going to go in again, just add a little bit more. And I'll also, actually I might try it on the other eye and just see. I will change brushes, so instead of the rephr 14, I'll try another brush just to see if you can get more payoff to begin with. So on the other eye, I've got the BK Beauty. This is the 207. This is quite a dense brush, but this can be quite good for getting quite a bit of product on. So we'll try this one. But I don't think it really makes too much difference, really. I will blend this out in a minute using my rephr 14. So I'm just going to blend it out now using my rephr brush. So I did get a bit more payoff to begin with using that BK Beauty brush. So it really just depends. If you want quite a bit of payoff to begin with, just use a more dense brush and then you can blend it out. So now I'm going to have to go back in with my rephr 14 just to match the other side. Then we'll take the rephr number 3 and I'm going to stay with this dark shade. And I'm going to put this on my lower lash line. So there is a decent amount of payoff. Just doing the once. I can go over it. What I might do just to show you is I'll just do the other eye first. And then I will give my brush a spray with some setting spray just to show you if there's any more payoff. But the way that this has gone on just like this is actually fine for me. But let's just see if we can get a bit more payoff just so you can see what it's like. So I've put some setting spray on my brush. I used the Dior one. And we'll just go over again. And you definitely do get more payoff by spraying the brush. But then you could probably just go in with layers. So if you wanted it deeper for under your eyes from the very first try, then either with water or a setting spray, just dampen the brush. And for the topper shade, I'm going to take the Sonia G. This is the flat definer. And I find this brush really good. So there is a bit of kick up when you put the brush in. So to avoid any fallout, I'm just going to just tap over here. Just sort of take it easy. But that topper shade is really beautiful, but I love topper shades and eyeshadow palettes. There's some people that don't like them. I love them. I think they give a really beautiful ethereal type of look, and they're very soft, whereas when you get metallics or quite chunky glitters, it can start to look a bit hard, but you still get sort of a soft, glamorous look. Now I'm going to put some of that in the inner corner as well. So I'm going to take one of the sponges and go into this topper shade again and just put a little bit through here. And I think that looks really pretty. Because someone asked me in the comments, actually there's been a few over the past year or two, have said they've picked up a palette that I've reviewed and they said, oh, I've got lots of fallout. And I said, well, either use a sponge or you can spray a brush and just go fairly carefully into the pan and then just take your time, just put it on. Sort of don't do it in a sweeping motion and you don't tend to get hardly any fallout then. So there's a little bit here and there, but nothing major, and I think that looks really pretty in the inner corner. So I'm just going to take a clean fluffy brush and like I usually do, I'm just going to go just over the edges just to soften everything out. I think this looks really beautiful. It may be too soft for some people, but I think it's gorgeous. This is a palette that I would definitely reach for my everyday makeup. So now off camera, I'm going to put on some eyeliner. I'll use a Chanel one, and the mascara that I'm going to use is the Helena Rubinstein because I think that's coming towards the end of its 3 months, and then I'll probably go back to my Chanel Le Volume one once that's been used up. And because I didn't know which eyeshadow I was going to use, I hadn't decided on my blush or lipstick. So off camera, I'm going to have to make a decision about what blush and lipstick I put on as well. But once that's done, I'll be back and give you my initial thoughts. So here is the finished look. So got eyeliner on, mascara, and of course blush and lipstick as well. Everything that I've put on today, apart from the mascara, is nearly all Chanel, I think, including the primer, but I've got that all listed and linked in the description box below. So here is the final look for the eyeshadow, and I think this is really pretty. Yes, it's soft and you do have to build it up a little bit, but if you want sheer, it's got that, and if you want to build it up, you're not going to get a super bold look, but this is just perfect for me for my everyday makeup. Now, I was really worried about these. I thought they probably might not show up at all, but they do, and they blend really beautifully as well. I was worried that these might be a bit dry, but I don't find them dry at all. The only thing is, and I think it's with all the toppers, you just got to be a little bit careful. I think you would get quite a bit of fallout if you're not careful with putting your brush into the pan and then just carefully tapping it on. But you get that issue with quite a few toppers anyway. And I'm just having a close look, and there might be one speck of glitter here, but I can't really see anything else. So just by being really careful, I didn't get any fallout. So I am really thrilled with this. I think it is gorgeous. And I know that these type of eyeshadows aren't for everyone, but for me personally, if I can get an eyeshadow that I can build or even put on very sheer, if I just want a very simple sort of no makeup look, which you could definitely do with this quad, or build it up for a really gorgeous everyday look. I would even wear this out in the evening. The topper gives a really beautiful sparkle, and as I was mentioning earlier, it gives an ethereal look. It's not chunky, and also if a shadow doesn't emphasize my mature eyelids and make all the wrinkles and crinkles any worse, then for me that is a winner, and these shadows don't do that. And I thought that they blended really lovely, just like I was saying, except for the topper. Just got to be a little bit careful with that, but that's quite common when it comes to topper shades. But so far I like this quad, and as I was saying at the beginning of the video, I will be doing videos on the other 3 quads, probably separate ones, so they won't be very long videos like this one, since I won't be swatching them all and show you what they're like, and I'll get them up over the next day or 2. So that's it for today's video. I would love it if you gave it a like and subscribed, and I will see you next time. Bye.